Hello everyone, my name is Ozzy, and if you've been playing Bethesda's new game Starfield, you've probably also noticed the starting ship is rather lacking when it comes to combat and storage space. In this video, we'll make some super easy upgrades to the Frontier's base model, so you can shoot down those pirates and get back to collecting loot. This build is recommended for character level 10, as many ship parts aren't available until then. Alright, in order to keep this super simple for everyone who hasn't touched shipbuilding before, all of the parts I'm going to show you are available here at the New Atlantis spaceport. So we landed, our ship's here, it's the original Frontier. You're going to go over to where you see this green kiosk. That's the Trade Authority Cell kiosk. Anytime you're at a spaceport and you're looking for the ship services technician, this guy you're going to talk to, he's either going to be right next to this green kiosk or he's going to be in a building that's right next to the kiosk.
Hey.
So we're going to go up, we're going to talk to him, we're going to click view and modify my ships.
Sure, have at it.
Now, a quick note, there is the upgrade ship down here. That's not what we're going to be messing with today. The only thing this lets you do is take what you already have and upgrade that specific model. But if we want to completely change, which engines we're using or what fuel tank or like add habitats to it, we can't do it from that menu. So we're going to go down here to the shipbuilder instead. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to delete everything we're not going to keep. To do that, just hover your mouse over the item and press the delete key on your keyboard. Sorry to everyone who's on console, I don't know the keybinds for interacting, but the idea is still the same. So we're going to delete that laser, this laser. You can keep the missile launcher or replace it, we'll talk about that later. Delete this cannon, delete the shield, fuel, 2 engines. If you right click and hold, you can rotate your camera. We're going to delete this grav drive, the reactor, and then if you left click and hold, you can pull apart these landing gears, or you can press space and then you don't have to hold on to it. And we're also going to remove this cargo hold. So the next thing we're going to do is start adding pieces back in. You go down here to the bottom, the add menu, or you can press G on your keyboard. First thing we're going to add is a shield. You want the deflector SG10. And if you're having issues connecting, say it's coming up here and you want to connect down here instead, or you're somehow underneath the ship and you can't get it to look properly, it's going to be because of this over here on the right. This is your vertical sort of what level you're at. So pressing R and F will raise you up or lower you down so that you can put pieces where you want them to go. The next thing we're going to grab is fuel. You can grab either the 300G or the Titan 450. I like the Titan 450 just because it looks better. And you can press Z on your keyboard and it'll flip the module for which side you want to put it on. Next, we're going to grab a new grav drive. You want this R2000. If you're character level 15, there's an R3000 available if you want to grab that instead. We're going to stick this one down here on the bottom behind the landing bay. Next, we're going to replace our reactor. You want this 124mm toroidal reactor. If you're level 12, there should be a 134. Grab that instead. And we're going to stick this on the back as well. Next, we're going to add a couple of habitats. These are the areas that your character can actually walk around inside your ship. We're going to grab Nova Galactic just to match the aesthetic. And if you notice all these notches down here, you can actually press the arrow keys and it'll give you different types of interiors, such as the captain's quarters or an armory. We're going to grab a science lab, and if you hit Control G, it'll duplicate it, and then you can press arrow again, and we're going to grab a workshop. Now, the reason for these, if you have a workshop, a science lab, and the Galactic Frontier, you have every possible crafting station and a bed and a research table. Also, if you left click and hit Control left click again, you can move multiple pieces at the same time. So we're going to stick these up top here. Then we're going to move these landing gears back to the middle section here. Move the ballast back next to the reactor. Next, we're going to grab engines for our ship. And you want these White Dwarf 1020 engines. Again, you can hit Control G to duplicate, Z to flip, or you can go back to the menu and pull out another one that works too. These don't look as cool as the other engines, but they are a lot more powerful, especially for early game. So without adding any more cargo, we're at 450, which is absolutely nothing for loot gremlins like myself. But we do have full mobility and a pretty decent jump range. Now mobility is your ability to like turn your ship while you're fighting in combat, so if you ever feel like you can't turn to look at an enemy and like they're always running circles around you, you probably need more mobility. A good rule of thumb is to keep it above 70. However, for us loot gremlins, some of us like to sacrifice mobility for cargo space. Personally, I like this 200 cm ballast. And I'm gonna add 4 onto here. Again, you can hit Control G and left click and all that fun stuff to copy, Z to flip, or you can pull them out individually from the menu. So with 4 of these, our mobility is 57. It's not amazing, but it gives us almost 1500 cargo, which is really nice. Now, if you do want to re-increase your mobility, the easiest thing to do, if you take off this back ballast, it'll increase it up to 66, which is still okay. If you find you really need more mobility than that, then I recommend keeping the back ballast and getting rid of 2 of these side cargo holds. That'll bump you up to 80 mobility, which is a lot more manageable for firefights. The last thing we need to add is our weapons. I'm actually going to move this missile launcher up here to the middle. And when you go into the weapons menu, you're going to scroll down. You're looking for the Disruptor 3300A Auto Electron Beam. If your character level 12, there's going to be another one available that's PBO 30 Auto Electron. It looks similar to this, so just a little beefier. Grab that one instead. We're going to attach this to, well, you could put it up here on the top. You could put it on your cockpit, whichever one you like. We're going to put another one on the opposite side. Now you can, if you decide you like this weapon, you can replace the missile launcher with another one and have a third one instead. I just like having the options personally. Now this is going to give you an error in the bottom. Press flight check or C. And then that error says that the ships must be assigned to a group. What this means is you go over to the weapons tab, and these are the buttons that you press in order to fire your weapons. So our first button, we're going to put the auto electron beam, and since we only have 2 weapons instead of 3 now, I'm actually going to unassign this from the third weapon group and put it on the second one, so that I'm only using my left and right mouse buttons to fire my weapons. A quick note about power, because this can get confusing. Equip power over here on the right is basically your total amount of power that you need to fully power your weapon systems, your engine, and your shield. It doesn't take grav power into account. And your reactor power is how much power total you're going to have, not counting additional skills, which right now you probably won't have anyway. So since these match, what this means is we can fully power our weapons, our engine, our shield at all times, and not have to play with how much power is going into what or whatever. The only thing is we will have to like borrow 1 power for the grav drive, but if you have Vasco assigned to your ship, he gives you 1 extra power anyways, and he's really good to have on your ship early game. And the last thing we need to do is give our ship a paint job. Easiest thing to do, double click. This is also a good way if you ever have unattached modules error. It helps you find like which one's not attached, because it'll only grab everything that's attached. But we're going to give our ship a paint job. So hover over it, press J, and this lets you color your ship all at once. You've got different highlight colors, different main colors, things like that. You can just play around with it and kind of get a feel for what you like. Press enter, and your ship now has colors. If you decide that you want to change one particular item, say I want these down here to be yellow, I can just hover over that piece, you know, come over here and make these yellow. Or I can use the control click to do just a couple of pieces at once. Anyway, I hope this helps. There's definitely a lot more that you can do with ships, especially later on as you raise your character level and as you get the shipbuilding skill. But hopefully this helps you all out early game. I know the Frontier can be really frustrating until you get a better ship. But that's all I have for this video, so I will see you all next time.